Hi, it's Travis here, and today we're going to talk about how everything you do, every behavior, every thought, every emotion, even the crazy, irrational things you're wondering, why do I do this? How all of that has a positive intention. And that positive intention is to meet your psychological needs in some way. Now, let's give a few examples of this so you can really understand this and you can get it deeply. Let's take the example of cigarette smoking, because I know it's something that a lot of people do and they wonder, why do I do this? And it seems so difficult to get rid of. The thing is, the reason why people smoke is because it meets, again, their psychological needs. For example, if somebody is smoking a cigarette, maybe the reason why they do it is because they want some time to relax. Maybe they want to get away from the stress of their day and they just want to take a time to collect their thoughts and maybe plan their next steps. Or maybe it's just to think nothing at all. That's to meet a need that we all have, the need for certainty, for comfort. Or it could be quite the opposite. Maybe somebody's totally bored in their day and there's, maybe it's monotonous at work, maybe it's the same boring stuff over and over again. Maybe they're at home and there's nothing to do, and so maybe they go out for a cigarette. They're having a cigarette to change their state, because then they start breathing, they get that nicotine, they get all this other stuff happening inside their body. There's actually an endorphin release that happens as well when you start smoking. And it changes your state. And then they're in a different state, so all of a sudden they've met their need for some excitement or some stimulation. Or it could be something like when somebody has a cigarette in their hand, they feel like they're more sophisticated or a little bit cooler or a little bit more significant, let's say, than other people, or than they would have been if they weren't smoking. Maybe it's not about being better than anybody else. Maybe it's just about feeling like, hey, you know what? I'm with it. I'm cool. I'm worthy, or I'm good enough to be in this group of people. And it usually has to do with connection, and that might be another reason why some people, start smoking, or the reason why they continue to smoke. Because maybe it's like, we're going on a smoke break. I always have a smoke with this person, or maybe it's we go out, on Friday nights we go out dancing or something, and always there's the cigarette smoke break. Go outside, have a cigarette, come back inside. It's kind of like a bonding thing for connection. To meet that need that we all have of belongingness and to feel like we're part of a group. So that essentially is the four reasons why a person would smoke. And usually, these are the reasons why people start smoking, but for somebody that's been smoking for a while, it's kind of outlived its usefulness, and the whole reason why they started smoking is now the reason why they want to quit. For example, if they started smoking because it made them feel like they were part of a group, well, maybe they want to quit smoking now because they don't really feel like they're part of a group at all. Maybe they feel like they're going outside alone on their smoke breaks, and maybe they're going out in the cold winter days and shivering, their butts off, and they come back inside, and they feel kind of like a pariah or an outcast. Maybe it's because they started smoking when they were young because it met their need for significance. It made them feel like they were cool or sophisticated or classy in some way, and now they just don't feel that way at all because the culture is changing. It could be because it helped them to feel comfortable, but now they're realizing how it's causing health problems. It's not comfortable at all. It could be because it met their need for variety, but now it's, giving them too much variety, too much stimulation, too much stress because of the health problems or the possibility of health problems in the future. So they start to associate pain with it and they want to change. This could be, or it could be somebody else. Let's take another example of something that a lot of people do that, sometimes we overdo sometimes. That's eating. I know if I'm honest with myself, then sometimes there's points where I make some bad choices with foods, and before I learned this model, really understanding every behavior has a positive intention, even eating junk food or even foods that aren't good for us. If you're in a state of, let's say, stress, you have a whole day at work, you're stressed out, what's the point that most people start eating unhealthy? It's not in the morning. It's not even during midday. Usually the time that most people start eating unhealthy is in the evening. And so they're eating unhealthy. The reason why, though, is because it's a way to deal with stress. Because they want those comfort foods. Because they want to just take some time for themselves. They want to enjoy the food they eat, not have to, do what that voice in their head is telling them or do what everyone else expects. Like, I'm going to go home, put on some comfortable clothes, put on the TV or read a book or something, make my favorite dish, and then all that stress of the day just goes away. So there, of course, is other ways we could relax besides eating, but it's a way that works, So that's the positive intention for some people. Sometimes there are people that oftentimes everybody does this, we eat for variety. It's like, well, I'm bored or I want some stimulation, and so, hand me that bag of chips right there. Or I'm going to get something sweet or salty, or I'm going to get something that I haven't eaten in a while to switch things up a little bit. There's also a lot of variety in cooking food. There's a whole network dedicated to the variety. It's called the Food Network on TV, dedicated solely to the variety of food. Or it could be, another reason, it's that, maybe there's like a voice in our head or somebody like mom or dad or friends, and they're saying, you gotta eat healthy all the time, and you gotta lose weight and all this kind of stuff. And then we go, I don't wanna. It's kind of like that defiance, that rebellion, and we say, no. And then we just eat whatever we want. And we say, I don't care what you think, I'm gonna do whatever I want, Mom, because I don't have to be who you want me to be. I'm lovable just like I am. If you don't like it, and whatever, right? So that's kind of that rebellion in it sometimes. There's also a lot of significance in cooking food. Sometimes there's like these recipes that we have that we just love and we're going to share with everybody. And then people say, wow, this is an amazing recipe. This is a perfect salad, or this steak is very well done, or this cake is delectable. And then you get that feeling, oh, I made that. Haha, right? So it's meeting that need for worthiness, significance, almost that need that we have to be in control of our own lives, to be directing our own actions instead of being directed by others. And there's also that feeling of connection. Do we connect with food? Yeah, we do. All the time, There's these big family meals. There's times where you're going on dates, for example. It's like dinner and a movie. Why do we have to have dinner? Why can't we just go see a movie? What about, going for a walk in a park? Well, a lot of times it's just something that we learn. It's something we learn so that we can connect with other people. Oftentimes the way we connect is through sharing a meal. And so there we have it, all these reasons why we eat. Now, if you look at anything else in your life, any other behavior that you don't know why you do it, any thought, emotion, or a habit that you're doing that you don't know why, and it's like, this is crazy, I want to change it, think first about how does that behavior meet your psychological needs. In other words, what's the positive intention of that behavior? Is it to meet your need for comfort or certainty or for security? Is it to meet your need for variety or stimulation? Is it to meet your need for significance or worthiness, or to feel a sense of adequacy, or even for rebellion? Is it to meet your need for connection? Is it to feel like you belong? Is it to connect with yourself or other people? What is it? And then as soon as you know that, think about how could you meet that same psychological need in a healthier way? So there's your two questions. What's the positive intention of this behavior? What psychological needs is it meeting? And how can I meet these needs in a much healthier way? Hope this helps you out. I hope it gives you some understanding of your own behaviors. There's going to be more videos next week, so keep in touch, stay tuned in, and I'm looking forward to talking again then. Bye-bye.